welcome back to my channel. So this is just a really soft glam makeup look that is designed to still be glam, still look glam, but also last a long time as well. I'm just trying to help a sister out. It's using a bunch of my favorite products as well, because I feel like on Valentine's Day or like whenever you're going to be using this tutorial, you want to feel confident, you want to feel good, and I feel like when you're wearing products that you know look great on you or like are your favorite products anyway, that's when you feel your best. So I've tried to do that as well. So yeah, if you like the concept of this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I've listed everything down below, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and do my eyebrows first, and if you're like me and have to kind of extend it a lot, I find that the product lasts longer straight onto the skin rather than doing foundation. So I'm going to take my Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow in Soft Brown, and this is from Inglot. It's their Duraline. This, if you add it to anything, makes it like waterproof and a lot creamier and easier to apply, and so these two are like a winning combination if you literally don't want your eyebrows to budge. Because if you're like me and have to like extend your brows, you obviously don't want to end up eyebrowless. And like I said, I always find it lasts a lot longer if it goes directly onto like dry skin. So then once you've done your eyebrows, you just want to go ahead and set them with like a clear brow gel to extra look them in. So I'm not going to do any eyeliner with this look. I feel like eyeliner is just a recipe for disaster if you're in like a rush and you defo want to look good and you're not 100% confident with eyeliner. Just skip it. There's other ways to make your eyes look fleeky. So I'm going to go straight onto skin. So I'm going to go ahead and moisturize my skin first using the MAC Fix Plus spray. This has a little bit of a tack to it when it dries, which is another reason why I love it. Not only does it like moisturize, but then like I said, it adds a little bit of tack. But I'm still going to go ahead and apply a primer anyway. But I do like to buff the excess in just with a brush. I also feel like it gives you a nice little glow from underneath as well. Now for primer, I did a look on how to make your makeup last all day not too long ago. So I didn't want to kind of do the same thing or use the same product. So another primer I really love that I feel like my makeup lasts through anything through is the Too Faced Hangover X Primer. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the same brush to just buff that in. Obviously got to be careful around your brows. But just really pressing it into the skin so your skin really absorbs it. And there's no kind of like excess that's going to interfere with the foundation or anything. Okay, with skin prep done and brows done, let's move on to foundation. Now I'm going to use two just because I'm extra, and if I want my skin to look flawless, I do feel like kind of the more you wear, the longer it lasts if you apply it right, because obviously you don't want to look cakey. So foundation, I'm going to take the Maybelline Matte Me Poreless one just because it's a matte finish, and this one I find is a really nice natural coverage, and I'm going to add coverage with something else. So I'm just going to dot that all over my face and then buff it in. Okay, and like I said, I am just going to apply a tiny bit of a different foundation just to add a little bit more coverage, or to areas that I know like my makeup might come off a bit easier than others. So I'm going to take the Cover FX Cream Foundation. I'm going to take a buffing brush. This one is the Zoeva Silk Finish one. I'm just going to kind of like dab my brush in like that. And the areas I find that makeup comes off the easiest, and I'm pretty sure it's quite similar for a lot of people, is on my nose. So I'm going to like stipple that product into my nose and like around it. And then another place that I just kind of prefer maybe a bit more coverage, not necessarily that because it comes off the easiest, is just this area here. So you can see I'm just kind of like pressing it into the skin. Okay, onto highlighter and kind of cream contour. I'm going to take the NYX Sculpt and Highlight in, this is in Taupe and Ivory. I find using creams to contour lasts a lot longer because it gives kind of like a base to your bronzer. So I'm just going to place this underneath my eye. And then I'm going to go ahead and blend that in with a beauty blender. Make sure that it's sufficiently damp, but obviously not like drenched. This is, I feel like everyone's been saying this at the moment. I watched Hannah's video and I watched Jacqueline Hill's video, and everyone just says this is honestly the #1 thing to like blending out your under eye. So I'm just gonna press that into the skin. This just kind of, it absorbs any excess product and make sure there's no like residual like obvious layers to your skin, which is why it's such a great product. And then once you've obviously done the highlight side, you can cream contour. So I'm just going to take this shade and just run this along like my cheekbones. It's quite a cool colour, so I'm not going to put it around the tops of my forehead because I like to warm that up with bronzer. Then just taking a duo fibre brush to initially blend it in. And then I just like to go in with a beauty blender and just make sure everything is just like pressed in place. Now I feel like this is the most important part, and that is just once obviously you've done all the creams on your face that you're going to do, set it in place. This or the RCMA no colour powder, or kind of like just a loose translucent setting powder is gonna be your best friend for kind of any occasion, not necessarily just this. Like to set your under eyes with it really helps brighten, but also just completely mattifies and just locks everything in. That's a good thing about a loose powder. It just absorbs excess moisture and it's just locked in. Oh God. So just on my sponge again, I'm gonna take some of this LIPLAND powder and just press it into my under eye. You want to use this baking method to kind of brighten any areas, but then I just dust it everywhere afterwards because I don't want to necessarily brighten everywhere, but I do want to set everywhere in place. While our under eye is like setting and stuff, I'm going to go ahead and do my eyes just in case we get any fallout from the product so I can just wipe it away. I don't think I've used this yet in a tutorial, but loads of you have asked me to use it. It is the Violet Voss Ride or Die palette. Literally it contains every colour under the sun. I love this. And I'm just going to go ahead and take the shade Abigail as our initial transition colour. So I'm just going to buff that into the crease. I'm kind of going to do a blown out look just because I feel like that's just, you can kind of see obviously what I've done on this side. It's just more like sultry and seductive, I find. I think sometimes like a really strong winged liner might be kind of, not like intimidating. I mean, you're doing your makeup for yourself at the end of the day, but just I feel like these are kind of more like sultry. So I'm just going to buff that into the crease and then just kind of like making sure when I'm buffing outwards, it's when I've got like a minimal product so we're not looking like we've been punched in the eye. Then I'm gonna really lightly dip my brush into the shade Josie and then really kind of build up the smokiness of our outer corner. I think like warm browns and like only really using like a dark brown as like your dark smoky colour is a lot more, I keep saying the word sultry, but you know what I mean, like a lot more complimentary, a lot more, it still makes an impact but without being too heavy. And then once you're happy with the intensity, just going back in with our initial fluffy brush that we used just to diffuse and blow everything out. For the lid colour, I'm actually going to take the Infallible eyeshadow from L'Oreal, and this is in the shade Iced Latte. Now what I love about this is it's actually slightly creamier, and I find creams and like a cream eyeshadow, once they're like set in place, they last like the longest time, they literally don't budge. And this one's more of like a powdery cream formula, so it's kind of a mix of both. If you don't 100% like love cream eyeshadows, these are a really nice formula. Apply that all over my empty lid space. If I've ever asked like a boy or whatever, like, oh, you know, what makeup do you like actually like? Not because it's like I really care and like because they've said that I'm gonna do that, but sometimes it's actually just like interesting, especially if it's like your guy mates or whatever. They've always said something light and shimmery on your lid, and I feel like this kind of like opens up your eye and like draws attention to your eye, and then it kind of gets like darker and sultrier towards the end. I'm just gonna go back in with my fluffy brush and just diffuse the edges. Now, just because this is makeup that you want to last a long time and stuff, I still feel like you can wear glitter if you apply it right. I mean, you could go ahead and full on use a glitter glow, but I didn't really want the glitter to be that intense. I just kind of wanted it to be like a, ooh, like if you just like shut your eyes, so it's something kind of like flattering and not too intense or anything that's gonna like really irritate you or anything like that. So I'm gonna take the Reflex Pearl glitter from MAC. It's a really refined glitter, so it's super comfortable to wear on the eyes and it's not gonna like cause you any irritation or anything. So what I like to do is take a little bit of the glitter on my brush, spray it a couple of times with Fix Plus. I'm then gonna look down and spray my eye with Fix Plus as well, and then just go ahead and pat it on, obviously, the places that you want the glitter to be. I just like to pat it on. And to be fair, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if this really comes off or doesn't last, because you've got that really gorgeous cream eyeshadow underneath, which will still like shimmer through. Dipping back into this eyeshadow palette, I'm going to take the shade Courtney mixed with Rachel. And on a really small definer brush like this is for one from Sigma. It is, oh my god, I can't even see the like names come off. But I'm just going to concentrate this on our like outer crease. I don't want the crease to be too dark, so I'm going to go back in with the fluffy brush, pick up a bit of that Josie shade and kind of mix it a bit with the Courtney colour and just make sure it's all blended together. I'm then going to take this flat brush from NYX. It is the number 10. I'm going to pick up that Rachel colour and I'm just going to really lightly line the top of my lash line, but literally just smudging motions, and I'm not going to go like all the way across, just kind of like 3/4 of the way. And I feel like this is a really effective way, especially if you know that you're going to wear eyelashes or like fake lashes, just to kind of hide them without having to do a winged liner and still give that kind of smoky liner effect. Kind of use zigzaggy motions and just press this into the lash line, literally just like that. I'm now going to go ahead and wipe everything away. I'm then going to take that same creamy shadowy colour from L'Oreal and use that to highlight my inner corner and my brow bone. Now to finish off the under eye, I'm actually going to take the shade Ashley, which is slightly warmer than the ones that we've been using, but that's because I find anything that you put underneath your eye really makes your eyes pop and like make them look like the best colour that they can. If you've got slightly greener eyes, a slightly more purplier based brown will really bring them out. If you've got browner eyes, you can kind of go for more of the warmest tone or the kind of purplier tone, like more of a grey kind of eye. The warmer it is, the more your eyes will pop. And I feel like eyes are really important. Like, they're my favourite feature on other people. They're my favourite feature on myself. I really think that they're like, you're gonna have loads of eye contact and stuff. So I feel like you want to make your eyes look the best. So for me, that's putting something really warm underneath. So I'm just going to take a pencil brush and buff that in. And just kind of connect it to what we've done here. Then taking that same NYX flat brush and that Courtney shade, I'm just going to push this really into my lower lash line as well. So this is more of a dark brown. Then for the waterline, I'm going to take this pencil from Makeup Forever. It is like a soft dark brown and it's the colour number D62. And I always find like you want your eyes to not almost look like more, well yeah, I feel like you want them to look more closed. If you put something like bright and white in your waterline, that's kind of meant to make your eyes look more like bigger and stuff, and I feel like that could be quite like intimidating. So something brown, it's nothing like, you can see I'm using a lot of browns rather than blacks. I feel like black can be quite harsh. This is totally my opinion. For my eyes personally, I love, if I'm going to put something dark in my waterline, just to use a nice soft brown. And these ones are meant to be extra long lasting and waterproof. So my eyes always go a little bit bloodshot after I do that. But I'm now just going to go ahead and apply mascara and then lashes. So I've just gone ahead and applied mascara, and if you've got like super long voluminous lashes or you're not confident in wearing falsies, then just leave it there. But just because this is like makeup that's meant to last, and I feel like a lot of people, their problem is they find that their lashes like ping off or whatever, but if you do them the right way, I still feel like they add like an extra little bit of glam to a look, and they're one of my favourite things to wear. Not all the time, but on a time like this I'd probably definitely wear them. The ones I'm going to use are from Flutter, and they look like, well, there we go, and they look like this. So they're super wispy and they have a slight wing to them. The name's not on the box, but I'll leave it linked down below. I just think they're super wispy and flirty, and they're nothing too much or anything that you're gonna like feel really like heavy or like weighed down by. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply those, and then I will show you the finished eyes. Don't you just think these are like, I know that they're a perfect amount of like drama and wisp, but without kind of being too much. So I'm obsessed with them. So these are the finished eyes. I feel like they're super sultry. I feel like I'm quite confident that these would last quite a long time as well, if you know what I mean. Nothing too heavy glam, so it's actually quite quick to do as well if you're in a rush. But no, this is the kind of soft glamish look that I came up with, and now we can move back onto the skin. So we already kind of cream contoured, so I'm just gonna lightly bronze my skin, and for that I'm gonna take the Bourjois chocolate bronzer. I feel like this has a really gorgeous glow to it. It's super like warm in tone as well, plus smells like chocolate. If someone's going to be like kind of close to your face, it's going to smell good. So I'm just going to apply that just above where we placed the cream contour to warm up the skin, and this is when I'm going to apply this kind of around the temples of my forehead, just as like a soft bronze. But then I'm also going to go in with literally it's one of my favorite products to wear just kind of before I go out or anything, and it is MAC Global Glow. I know this is meant as like a highlighter, but honestly on a big brush like this is a MAC 135. Just dusting this, like I dust this here, so like the top of my forehead, just kind of over where I place that bronzer, and just like sides of my nose and stuff. I think it gives a really gorgeous inner glow and like almost preps your skin for when you apply highlighter. Before that, I'm going to apply a blusher, and this is NARS Orgasm. We won't get too ahead of ourselves. You guys know I'm not a massive blusher wearer, so colours like this are right up my street. Plus this has a really gorgeous like gold reflex running through it, so it ties in with like everything else that you had going on your skin. And then for highlighter, I'm going to take Jeffree Star King Tut, which is a really gorgeous gold colour, on a small fluffy brush. Now the formula of these is super creamy, and I find a more creamier highlighter stays on the skin a lot longer and appears a lot more like brighter, and they blend a lot easier into the skin as well. Like the sleek palettes are the same, they're really creamy and they really blend into the skin. I feel like powder, if you're just kind of putting it on, can just wipe straight off. So I'm really kind of pressing and blending this in. So if you're like turning to the side, if you're out for dinner, you can be like, ooh, and you can say, yes, I know, I'm glowing. And then just on the bridge of my nose, and it's really pretty like between your brows, I think, in pictures. And then my Cupid's bow as well. Now onto the lips, I feel like a matte lipstick is a must. I feel like if you put a gloss on, if the gloss comes off, everything comes off. So definitely stick to a matte and stick to a formula you know that lasts a long time and that you're comfortable with wearing. And I feel like you want your lips to almost look, colour-wise, as natural as possible. And then I think having your lips maybe looking slightly fuller, so they look more like juicy. I love that look just because I love the appearance of fuller lips anyway. So I am going to go ahead and line my lips, and this is the Colourpop lip liner in Beeper. I feel like you don't want anything too dark that you're not going to feel comfortable wearing, but then anything too light that's going to be quite like, woo. And I know I normally love a light nude, but I feel like something slightly darker for this look. So my colour choice today is the Dose of Colours liquid lipstick in Truffle. I feel like this is a really gorgeous kind of dusty rose nude kind of colour. A really gorgeous colour if you've never tried it before. And then I am just going to go back in a tiny bit more with that Jeffree Star highlighter on the Cupid's bow again, just after this dries, because I feel like it makes your lips appear a lot fuller and kind of would like draw attention to them, and then they can see the gorgeous lips that you have. I'm going to press a tiny bit in the middle as well. But finally, I'm going to use the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. The name says why we're going to be using this one. Did anyone see that meme that went round about this, and it was like a screenshot of someone's comment that they'd left as like a review on the Sephora website, and they were like, this saved my life. So this is the finished makeup look. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Obviously it's a look that I love anyway. It's a really gorgeous soft glam look that I feel like you could wear for anything, and all the products I've tried to use are gonna like hopefully last and still look really glam. So I hope you can take just something from this. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!